Good morning. Let me begin with a simple, powerful idea. Act as if God is within you. Act as if God is within you. And suddenly fear becomes small. Doubt loses its grip. You begin to speak differently, think differently, move differently. You begin to walk into rooms not looking for permission but bringing purpose. You stop asking, "Can I?" and start declaring, "I will." There is a power within you that you have barely begun to tap into. It's not something external. It's not something you earn. It's not given to you by other people, titles, or circumstances. It's already inside you, right now, this very moment. It's the breath of life, the spark of the divine. Call it God, call it your higher self, call it inner light, whatever name you give it. Know this, it is real, and it is within you. When you begin to act as if God is within you, your relationship with yourself begins to transform. You stop seeing yourself as small, broken, or insufficient. You stop apologizing for your existence. You stop waiting for someone else to unlock the door to your greatness, because the key has always been in your hands. You simply forgot it was there. Think of how many people walk through life never realizing their own potential. They wait for permission to act. They wait for the right time, the right circumstances, the right sign. But the truth is, the sign is already inside them. That quiet voice, that intuitive nudge, that burning desire, it's all part of the divine power within you, trying to break through your layers of fear and doubt. You were never meant to live life on your knees, begging the world for validation. You were meant to rise and create, to lead, to shine. When you believe that God dwells within you, it changes how you see your obstacles. They stop being walls and become stepping stones. Challenges don't mean you're off track. They mean you're on a path worth walking. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What strength is this trying to awaken in me?" The world doesn't need more people who blend in. It needs people who remember who they are. Divine, soulful, intentional. When you speak, speak as someone who carries divine wisdom. When you act, act as someone who walks in the footsteps of the Creator. You are not separate from the divine. You are a living extension of it. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and visionaries throughout history understood this. They may not have used these exact words, but they lived by this truth. They tapped into something greater, something unshakable inside themselves. That wasn't luck. That wasn't fate. That was alignment. They aligned their lives with the belief that something powerful was working through them, and so it did. Now imagine what your life would look like if you truly lived every day from that place. Imagine walking into a room and not shrinking because you know your worth isn't up for debate. Imagine pursuing your dreams, not from desperation, but from divine confidence. Imagine the impact you could have on others, not by pretending to be perfect, but by standing tall in your truth and letting your inner light shine. This isn't about arrogance or ego. It's about reverence. Reverence for the life force flowing through you. Reverence for the gifts you've been given. Reverence for the fact that out of billions of people, you are here, now, with breath in your lungs and purpose in your heart. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You don't need to have it all figured out. All you need is the courage to believe that you were created for more, and that the power to fulfill that calling isn't somewhere far away. It's already inside you, waiting for you to step into it. So speak boldly, love deeply, move with purpose, because when you act as if God is within you, you begin to live from your highest self. You begin to create, to inspire, to lead and to transform, not just your own life, but the lives of those around you. Fear is one of the greatest forces holding people back, not because it's invincible, but because it's convincing. It whispers lies in your ear, distorting your view of the world, shrinking your vision, and paralyzing your potential. Fear tells you that you're not ready, not worthy, not strong enough, not smart enough. And too often, we listen, we give it power, we build our lives around it. But what if you chose something else? What if instead of acting out of fear, you acted out of faith? Faith is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward in spite of it. It's the belief that even though you cannot see the whole staircase, you take the next step, trusting that something greater is guiding your way. It's the deep, quiet knowing that you're not walking alone, that God is within you, and because of that, you have everything you need to face what's ahead. When you act as if God is within you, fear loses its voice. It doesn't vanish completely, but it no longer drives the car. Faith takes the wheel, and when faith is driving, your decisions are no longer based on what could go wrong. They're based on what could go right. You stop living reactively and start living purposefully. You stop waiting for certainty and start trusting in your calling. Fear focuses on survival. Faith focuses on expansion. Fear keeps you in the boat. Faith says walk on the water. Fear says stay where it's safe. But faith says step into the unknown and watch miracles unfold. Think about it. Some of the greatest moments in your life came when you pushed past fear, even just a little. That first time you spoke up, stepped out, tried something new. Wasn't there something powerful waiting for you on the other side? That's because fear is loud, but it's hollow. It has no roots in truth. Most of the things we fear never actually happen, and even when they do, we handle them better than we imagined. But faith is different. Faith is grounded. It grows stronger the more you feed it. And when your faith is rooted in the belief that God is within you, it becomes unshakable. Imagine approaching every challenge, every opportunity, every unknown moment, not with anxiety, but with the calm certainty that you're divinely supported. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop overthinking. You trust that whatever comes, you'll meet it with grace, with wisdom, and with power. Because it's not just you showing up, it's the divine within you, expressing itself through you. This shift from fear to faith is not just spiritual, it's deeply practical. It changes how you communicate, how you carry yourself, how you build relationships, how you handle setbacks. You begin to expect good things. You begin to rise faster after failure. You start making decisions that align with your highest self, not your deepest insecurity. And here's the beautiful thing. Faith is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Each time you choose faith over fear, even in small ways, you train your mind and spirit to trust more deeply. You build spiritual memory. You remember, last time I trusted, I made it through. Last time I believed, something shifted. Last time I stepped forward, I grew. There will always be reasons to be afraid. Life is uncertain. Challenges will come, but you get to choose what voice you give your energy to. Fear wants to keep you safe, but safety is not the same as purpose. Faith wants to take you higher, and when you act as if God is within you, you choose the higher road every single time. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to eliminate fear completely. You just need to believe that what's inside you is bigger than what's in front of you. That is the essence of faith. That is the beginning of freedom. And that is how you become unstoppable. You were not placed on this earth by accident. You are not a random collection of experiences and biology. Deep within you is a reason for your existence, a divine purpose that only you can fulfill. When you act as if God is within you, you begin to live not by default, but by design. Your life takes on meaning. Your days stop blending into each other. Every step you take begins to align with something greater, something sacred. So many people wander through life, unsure of why they're here. They chase money, recognition, or comfort, thinking those things will give them direction. But without a deeper sense of purpose, even success can feel empty. It's like climbing a ladder, only to find it's leaning against the wrong wall. But when you live as if God is within you, your ladder is always leaning on something eternal. You stop chasing shadows and start pursuing substance. Purpose doesn't mean a title, a job, or a destination. It's a way of being. It's waking up each day, knowing your life matters, not because others say so, but because you were created with intention. The gifts, the passions, the insights, the burdens you carry, those were not given to you by chance. They are tools and clues to the assignment your soul came here to complete. When you carry the awareness of God within you, your actions become sacred. Conversations are no longer random. Your work becomes a form of worship. Your relationships, your decisions, your sacrifices, everything becomes infused with deeper meaning. Even mundane tasks take on significance, because you know you're part of a bigger picture, even if you can't always see the full canvas. And here's the thing, purpose is not always loud. It doesn't always come with fireworks or applause. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it looks like serving, listening, showing up when it's inconvenient. But even in those small moments, something extraordinary is unfolding. Because when you live with purpose, nothing is wasted. Not your pain, not your joy, not your waiting, not your struggles. Everything is shaping you, refining you, preparing you for what's ahead. People often ask, how do I find my purpose? The truth is, you don't have to find it. It's already within you. It's in the things that make you come alive. It's in the things that make you weep. It's in the quiet dreams you've pushed aside for too long. When you act as if God is within you, you begin to trust those whispers. You stop dismissing them. You listen, and you follow. And little by little, purpose stops being a question and starts being a compass. Living with purpose doesn't mean life gets easier. It means it gets clearer. You may still face opposition, setbacks and uncertainty, but you face them differently. You don't crumble as easily. You don't give up so quickly. Because now, you're not just chasing goals. You're fulfilling a mission. You're not just working. You're building something eternal. You're not just existing. You're living with fire in your soul. And the beautiful part, living on purpose, inspires others to do the same. People may not always remember what you said, but they will feel the energy of a life lived with intention. You become a mirror for others, reminding them of what's possible. When they reconnect with their own divine spark, you don't have to preach it. You are it. It's easy to drift through life, to follow the path of least resistance, to let routine numb your sense of meaning. But that is not what you were made for. You were made to wake up, to rise, to live as if heaven itself breathes through your lungs. That's what happens when you recognize the divine within you. Your life becomes a message, and your purpose becomes unstoppable. When you act as if God is within you, something remarkable begins to shift, not just in your heart, but in your work, your thoughts, and your actions. You no longer speak with uncertainty, or walk timidly through life. You begin to speak, think and act with authority, not because you're trying to impress others, but because you know who you are, and whose power you carry within you. True authority doesn't come from external validation. It doesn't come from titles, wealth or applause. It comes from alignment. It comes from a deep, unwavering belief that you are connected to something greater, that you are not separate from the source of power, wisdom and creation, but rather, you are a vessel for it. When you realize this, hesitation starts to fade, and clarity takes its place. Your words begin to carry more weight, not because you shout louder, but because you speak from truth. You stop filling space with noise, or speaking just to be heard. Instead, you speak intentionally, purposefully, with the kind of confidence that comes from someone who knows they are guided. Your voice no longer trembles under pressure, because you're not speaking from ego. You're speaking from the authority of divine alignment. In the same way, your thoughts begin to elevate, no longer filled with constant self-doubt, anxiety, or comparison. Your mind becomes a sanctuary of vision and belief. You start thinking like someone who was born to create impact. Your inner dialogue shifts. You stop asking, can I really do this? And start declaring, this is who I am. You begin to visualize, not from desperation, but from certainty. Your thoughts no longer limit you. They empower you. Thinking with authority means you stop entertaining thoughts that question your worth. You no longer give room to beliefs that belittle your purpose. Instead, you cultivate thoughts that are bold, creative, loving, and expansive. Because when God is within you, there is no room for small thinking. You were created for more, and your mind becomes the engine that drives your divine mission forward. Then most powerfully, you begin to act with authority. You take bold steps, not because you're guaranteed success, but because you trust the process. You trust that your actions are part of something bigger. Acting with authority doesn't mean being reckless or aggressive. It means being rooted. It means moving with conviction, even when the path isn't clear. It means making decisions not from fear, but from faith. When you act with divine authority, people notice. You carry a different presence. You walk into rooms not with arrogance, but with quiet strength. You stop apologizing for your life. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You lead without forcing, influence without manipulating, and inspire without. That's what divine authority looks like. It's grounded, humble, and undeniable. Of course, this doesn't mean you won't still face moments of doubt. We all do. But when those moments come, you don't spiral. You reset. You come back to the truth. God is within me. I am not powerless. I am not unworthy. I am not alone. And with that truth, you recalibrate your voice, your thoughts, and your next steps. One of the greatest lies we've been told is that we must earn the right to be bold, that we must wait until we feel ready to speak up, to dream big, to take action. But the truth is, readiness comes from stepping into the authority you already have. The same way a seed contains everything it needs to become a mighty tree, you already contain what you need to become, who you're meant to be. You don't have to wait to be chosen. You were chosen the moment you were born. So begin today. Speak with the voice of someone who carries the divine. Think with the clarity of someone whose mind is guided by truth. Act with the boldness of someone who walks with heaven inside. Don't dim your light to fit in. Stand tall, shine brightly, and lead with authority. Because when you act as if God is within you, you begin to live not as a follower of fear, but as a force of purpose, power, and transformation. Life will test you. There will be moments that shake you to your core. When plans fall apart, people let you down, and everything feels uncertain. In these moments it's easy to feel lost, defeated, even abandoned. But if you act as if God is within you, something inside refuses to break. Instead of crumbling, you begin to rise. Because resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's about remembering who you are and where your strength comes from, even in the darkest hours. When you believe that God dwells within you, adversity no longer defines you, it refines you. You don't see challenges as punishments or signs of failure. You see them as opportunities to grow, to build inner strength, and to uncover the depth of your own spirit. Setbacks don't signal the end. They become chapters in a larger story of transformation. Think about the people you admire most. They're not people who had it easy. They're the ones who kept going when everything told them to quit. They're the ones who rose after they fell, who kept believing when nothing made sense. What gave them that power? It wasn't external. It came from within, from a place of faith, from a source of resilience that could not be shaken by circumstance. That same power is in you. It always has been. When you face adversity, your mind may try to convince you that you're weak, that you don't have what it takes, that you won't make it through. But the presence of God within you says otherwise. It reminds you that strength isn't something you find, it's something you remember. Every trial becomes a mirror, reflecting the resilience you didn't know you had. You may feel afraid, but you act with courage. You may feel tired, but you move with endurance. You may feel broken, but you carry yourself with grace. Resilience doesn't mean pretending everything's fine. It means showing up anyway. It means acknowledging the pain, but refusing to let it paralyze you. It means letting yourself feel, cry, and grieve, but still choosing to believe there is purpose on the other side. When you live as if God is within you, you stop seeing adversity as the enemy. You start seeing it as a sacred teacher. Every hardship becomes a lesson. Every delay builds patience. Every heartbreak deepens your compassion. And perhaps the most beautiful part of resilience is this: it grows stronger every time you use it. Each time life knocks you down and you choose to stand back up, you become more unshakable. Each storm you survive becomes a reminder of what you're made of. You begin to trust yourself, not in arrogance, but in faith. You know that if you've made it this far, you can make it further, not because of your own strength alone, but because you're anchored to something eternal. When the world feels chaotic, when the pressure mounts and your path is unclear, take a breath and turn it inward. Listen, that still small voice inside you, that's the divine. That's the reminder. That's the reminder that you are never truly alone. That's the whisper that says, keep going. That is your resilience speaking. And when you trust it, you find the courage to take one more step, and then another, until suddenly, what once felt impossible becomes your testimony. Resilience doesn't just benefit you, it empowers others. When people see you rise from adversity, they are reminded of what's possible for them. Your strength becomes a light in someone else's darkness. Your journey becomes a source of hope. You never know who's watching, who's being encouraged by your persistence, your grace, your grit. So when the road is hard and your soul feels heavy, remember this: you carry within you the presence of something greater. You are not just surviving, you are being shaped, forged, strengthened. Every scar tells a story of endurance. Every trial becomes part of your becoming. And through it all, you are never alone. Act as if God is within you, not just in moments of joy, but in seasons of struggle. Because when you do, resilience stops being a concept. It becomes who you become, the kind of person who doesn't just face adversity, but transforms because of it. And in that transformation, you find your power. There is something powerful that happens when you begin to live as if God is within you. You stop living only for yourself. You realize your life is not just a personal journey, but a divine assignment. When you carry that presence within you, it's not just for your own strength, clarity, and healing. It's so that you can become a light to others. You start to understand that the love, wisdom, and peace you receive are not meant to be hoarded. They are meant to be shared. You become a vessel of hope in a world that desperately needs it. There are people you encounter every day who are quietly struggling, people carrying burdens they never speak of, people waiting for reason to believe again, to try again, to rise again. You may not always notice it, but your words, your energy, your presence, it all carries weight. It can either lift someone up or push them further down. And when you walk with the awareness that God is within you, you naturally begin to live. You become someone who doesn't just exist in the world, but illuminates it. Being a light to others doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean having all the answers. In fact, sometimes it's your vulnerability that inspires others the most. When people see you show it, authentically, with faith, with compassion, with humility. It gives them permission to do the same. It reminds them that they too can carry light, even while they're still healing, still growing, still figuring things out. Your light is not in your perfection. It's in your present. It's in the way you listen, encourage, forgive, and serve. And this kind of light is contagious. When you shine, others begin to glow. One kind word, one moment of genuine care, one simple act of kindness. It may feel small to you, but it can shift the entire direction of someone's day, or even their life. You don't always see the impact in real time, but trust that it's happening. Every time you choose love over judgment, empathy over indifference, peace over chaos, you're helping to light someone's path. It also means you live with a sense of responsibility, not a heavy burden, but a sacred calling. You know that your presence matters. Your example matters. People are watching, not just what you say, but how you live. They're learning what faith looks like watching how you educate people, how you speak about others when they're not in the room. You are in a way a reflection of the divine. For those who have forgotten what that looks like, you fake what within you. People begin to remember what God's love, patience, and strength can feel like, because they see it in you. The beauty of being a light is that you don't have to wait until you reach some distant level of spiritual development. You can start now, wherever you are, with whatever you have. Smile at a stranger. Offer a listening ear. Speak words of encouragement, especially when they're not expected. Show up for people. Forgive someone, even if they don't apologize. Be present with someone who's hurting. Let your light be your way of saying, you're not alone. The world is filled with noise, conflict, and fear. But light cuts through darkness, and you, when you carry the divine within, are a walking spark of that light. You were never meant to dim yourself to fit in. You were never meant to blend in with the shadows. You were born to shine, to make a difference, to turn ordinary moments into sacred ones, simply by being who you are, in alignment with who you were created to be. You may never know the full ripple effect of your light, but that's not your job. Your job is simply to keep shining, to stay alive, to stay grounded in love, faith, and truth. The rest will take care of itself. The light you share will travel further than you can imagine, reaching places and people you may never meet, in ways you'll never fully. When you live as if God is within you, something profound begins to shape your choices, your words, your habits, and your relationships. You no longer live in fragments. You no longer wear one face in public and another in private. You begin to walk in integrity, a rare and powerful quality in a world that often rewards compromise. Living in integrity means living in alignment with your values, your truth, your purpose. It means choosing wholeness over convenience and authenticity over approval. You can't live a double life and feel peace. You can't say one thing and do another and still feel. Many people feel anxious, but you've been exhausted, or stuck, not because they're lacking resources, but because they're living out of sync with who they really are. But when you believe that the divine resides in you, you begin to honor, fight for truth. You stop pretending, you stop performing, you start aligning every part of your life with the values that reflect your higher self. Integrity isn't about being flawless, it's about being honest. It's about being willing to look at your own heart, take responsibility for your actions, and make the hard choices when no one is watching. When you carry God within you, you don't need external rules to guide your morality. You carry an inner compass. You know when something is right. You feel it when something's off. The more you listen to that voice, the stronger it becomes. The more you honor it, the more whole you feel. And wholeness, true wholeness, is a kind of quiet power. It gives you peace when others are in chaos. It gives you strength when you're tempted to settle, to compromise, or to take shortcuts. Living in wholeness means you don't break yourself into pieces to please others. You don't betray your values for temporary gain. You don't let fear dictate your decisions. You are whole even when you're not understood. You are whole even when it costs you popularity, because your peace is more valuable than anyone's approval. Wholeness also means healing the parts of you that have been hidden or wounded. It means no longer rejecting parts of yourself to fit someone else's mold. You embrace who you are, your history, your voice, your uniqueness, and you bring all of it into the light. You stop hiding your flaws behind masks. You stop numbing your pain with distractions. You face your truth, and you begin to walk in freedom. And as you walk in integrity, you build trust, not just with others, but with yourself. You begin to trust your own decisions, your own instincts, your own inner wisdom. You no longer need to seek constant reassurance, because your life is aligned with a deeper truth, and others feel that. People may not always understand your beliefs or your path, but they will respect the consistency of your character. They will sense your groundedness. They will be drawn to your authenticity. Living in integrity also means you speak truth, even when it's hard. You don't gossip or manipulate. You don't twist the truth to serve your ego. You choose honesty, even when it costs you comfort. And you do so not about but out of reverence for the divine that lives within you. Your word becomes your bond. Your presence becomes trustworthy. You become a person others can rely on, not just because of what you say, but because of how you. And perhaps most importantly, when you live in integrity and wholeness, you experience freedom. You don't have to carry the weight of pretending. You don't have to live in fear of being exposed. You can look in the mirror and feel peace. You can lay your head down at night and rest, because you're not fragmented. You're not divided. You're one whole, true, and aligned. This is the power of living. If God is within you, you rise above the noise. You stop living by the standards of the world, and you start living by the truth within your soul. You don't seek to impress. You seek to express the fullness of who you are. You walk in light. You stand in truth, and in doing so, you become the kind of person who doesn't just survive in this world, but transforms it. So, I challenge you, when you wake up tomorrow, don't just reach for your phone, reach for your purpose. Yes. Stand in the mirror and remind yourself, I am not alone. I am not ordinary. I am not limited. God is within me.